Expect I don't have to tell either of you that law business don't always crop up at convenient times.
Especially not law business related to murder.
Murder?
That's the ugly word for it. One of the worst kinds, too. The killing of a beautiful, innocent young woman.
Well, where and when did this happen? And what does it have to do with anybody in Buffalo Peak?
Katie Carruthers, that's the victim's name, was killed late last fall up in Pecos, smack in the heart of Judge Walter Buchanan's territory.
You know who Judge Buchanan is, don't you?
I reckon anybody who's spent more than a handful of minutes in West Texas has heard of Judge Buchanan.
Yeah. Well, it happens that the judge has taken a special interest, a sort of personal one, you might even say, in this case. He wants the killer damn well caught, and he's made it known it will give him considerable delight to sentence the varmint to a speedy hanging.
If there's any truth to his reputation, he ain't ever exactly reluctant to see a man dance at the end of a rope.
He certainly won't be in this case, which puts a lot of pressure on Roy and me to get the culprit hauled before him.
I can appreciate that. But it comes back around to my question. How does you two showing up in Buffalo Peak figure into any of this?
Because only about a week ago, the judge got a new lead. A tip that provided a name and description for the killer, along with information that he could be found here in your town.
If that's the case, I want to know as bad as anybody. We ain't hardly in the habit of harboring murderers in these parts. What's the name?
Skinner. Malachi Skinner.
Malachi Skinner? Beartooth? What the hell? It's not possible.
Firestick knew for a fact that Beartooth had killed in his time. Indians, to be sure, and white men, too. All varmints who'd had it coming. But he wasn't a murderer. And certainly not of an innocent young woman.
Malachi Skinner. The name familiar to you, Marshal?
Firestick's mind continued to race, calculating, weighing options on how to handle this, what to say and not say. He couldn't outright lie, couldn't deny knowing Beartooth. Everybody in the valley knew otherwise. 5 minutes of the Rangers asking questions anywhere else would reveal that much.
Yeah, I know it well. Matter of fact, Skinner is a close personal friend of mine. Also happens to be one of the deputies working under me.
Deputy?
As you can imagine, what you're claiming comes as a surprise and quite a shock. I'll work with you to get this straightened out, but I can tell you right now you're barking up the wrong tree. There's been some kind of mistake, a bad one. Ain't no way Beartooth murdered a young woman or anybody else.
Beartooth?
That's the name he more commonly goes by. Most folks know him as that, not so much by Skinner.
So it's an alias, in other words.
It's a nickname, nothing more. For what it's worth, I got one too, and so does my other deputy. Reasons why go back a ways, but last I knew, there's nothing illegal about such a thing.
No, of course not. Look, Marshal, based on what you told us, I can understand how unsettling this must be for you, but we're just here to do a job, serve a warrant on a wanted man. If he's truly innocent, if it's all some kind of mistake like you believe, then the truth will all come out in a court of law.
The court of Judge Walter Buchanan. Everybody's heard the stories about some of the rulings he's handed down, and in this case, you've as much as said he's already got his mind made up.
In the first place, you ought to know better than to believe everything you hear. In the second place, even if Judge Buchanan's rulings sometimes seem harsh and unorthodox, he's never been known to railroad an innocent man.
And in the third place, none of that makes a damn bit of difference to the here and now. Like my partner already explained, McQueen, we're here to serve a warrant on a wanted man and take him back to Pecos to face charges and a trial. That's the long and short of it. So the only thing you need to concern yourself with is doing what you said you'd do. And that's to cooperate by telling us where we can find this Skinner or Beartooth or whatever the hell he's calling himself.